Chuck, are you black, African American, or other? Does that change by situation?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It does not change from situation to situation for me. I probably use the word black and African American interchangeably. Some people have a preference on that. I personally don't have a preference on that. I made a decision in high school that was, you know what, I think black is beautiful. I'm not anti calling myself black, and so that's kind of how I identify myself. But I think that some people have concerns about labels and want to be, identified.
So, but definitely not darky.
Yeah, not darky.
Definitely
There's a
not
couple
that.
others on that
Okay.
list
All
that
right.
I could,
Or not, can I just give some few, see if you like them or
You
not?
want to just try some more?
No.
Try some more?
That's good. I'll stop before you punch me. That's good.
Yeah.
This is something I've been hearing more and more about, Chuck, that I'm hearing more African Americans talk about the racism inside of the African American community based on how black or how light your pigment is.
Yeah, yeah.
That just seems really weird to me. And I've heard
Yeah.
a number to say that
Yeah.
inside the black community, the blacker you are, the less you're respected. You're behind.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, some don't call me black, I'm brown. True? Not true?
I mean, it is true, and it sits in a context. So here's the context it sits in. Our country clearly places value on lighter skin and devalues darker skin. That's always been the case, and there's been intentional choice to do that. You couldn't have a slavery institution if you didn't do that. Think about the underlying things that needed to be in place for you to be able to feel like you could treat somebody like property. You have to differentiate yourself from them. The way that's been happening in our country is based on the hue of the skin. But I would say that's a global reality. That's not just a black American reality. When I went to India, there were a lot of dark brown people in India look like me. I never saw any of them on any of the billboards advertising one product in India. It's because it was a British problem. And so
right.
the British, the lighter you are, the closer you are to the queen, that was seen as value. So there's a system behind some of those things that absolutely plays out internally within the culture and the community that we live in. So
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on that, you had talked about the guys at the gym, and I appreciate your vulnerability around that story. And this came up previously. What would I do in that situation? And my truthful answer is I probably feel the same way from a knee-jerk reaction, that if it's white, I probably would be more trusting. Black, I'd be less trusting and want to lock my stuff up. And that might be painful to hear, but the truth is that's because I've been conditioned to believe that in this culture. I've been conditioned to believe that the darker the skin, that it's not trustworthy. And that even implies me. That's why I like that racist goggles video, because if you notice, he doesn't scream until he puts the goggles on himself and he sees the stereotype that's been put on him by culture.
It's interesting. I think for me, as I dig into that weird perception in the locker room, I don't know that it's so much your skin color means that I can't trust you. It's that I just know that the darker your skin, the more likely in our country that you're going to be having economic problems.
Yeah.
And the more likely you are to be having economic problems, the more likely you are to steal. These things just get really, really complicated.
They do, and they are complex.
Yeah.